The comprehensive coverage of election 2016 here on Election Headquarters on TV, radio, online, and mobile.
Vote is more than a thumbprint, more than party colors, more than family history. Your vote is the future. Join the conversation on Election 2016 on TV, radio, online, and mobile. #ElectionHQ.
It's 78 days to elections. Hello and welcome to News Today here on your Journey channel on Multi TV. This bulletin is available on your Multi TV Digibox, also available on your DSTV channel 421 and your Go TV channel 144. Coming up, doctors at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital reports of an increased number of babies born with no visible anal opening. Opposing New Patriotic Party rubbishes defense of governing NDC on its inability to fully fulfill promises in the party's 2012 manifesto. And few adhere to strike directive as committed drivers protest the implementation of the bus rapid transit system next month. We have details including business, sports, entertainment, as well as some international news, all coming up in the next hour here on News Today. Stay with us. My name is Kwabna Chenchehinibuati. Many thanks for joining us. In our first story this afternoon, and after threatening a nationwide strike last Wednesday, the Commuter Drivers Association of Ghana has made good on its word of embarking on a strike. Now today, members of the association chose to stay away from their vehicles and ultimately passengers who required their services. Derek Ekosam has been monitoring the impact of the strike and has come through with his report.
So last week when the president announced the introduction of the BRT buses to operate in some parts of the country to ease traffic and also to ease the pressure on commuters, some agitated. They said they were against the implementation of the policy because according to them, they will be rendered jobless should these buses start operating. They threatened to strike on Monday. Now Monday is here with us and I am at this Nungua station here at Obrasport. When I came here on Thursday to speak with some of the drivers, they said that, well, they will possibly join the action. But today I'm here and I'm seeing that they are working. The passengers come in, they board the buses and they go their way. I have Eric here and I have Noah here as well. They will explain why they earlier said they'll join the actions, but today they are not on strike.
Yeah, I've heard about this since last week, but we are working. We've never had any letter from our National Secretariat. Before we shall go any strike, we have to take a letter from our head before we can do so.
But when I came here on Thursday, I spoke to some of your drivers. They said that, well, though they were yet to get confirmation from their leadership, they would individually embark on strike.
Yeah, many of them are not here, so I believe that they have started that.
Okay, so it's more like it's a mixed bag. Or we have some drivers here who are working and some drivers who are not here.
Yeah, yes, we have them. Many are working. Yeah,
So looking at those who are not here and those who are here, which number is bigger?
Those who are out are bigger than those who are in.
So it means that some of your members are on strike?
Yeah, some members are on strike. But with the union head, we are not on strike. We are waiting for the letter before we can do any action.
Okay, so the union heads say they are waiting for a letter from their authority before they embark on strike. But you are one of the drivers here. Did you hear about the strike?
No, I'm not here about the strike. I'm now here about that strike. But since I'll hear the strike, I'm also going to join them. From here, I'm not come back again.
So where will you load to?
I'm loading to Circuit to Nungwa.
And when you go to Nungwa, you won't come back again?
No.
But if you come, what will happen to the passengers?
The government say you have brought the buses. So I have to take the buses to bring them.
But the buses will not start working until next month or maybe 2 months from today.
If the buses come, it's for our work. That's why even our cars is plenty. Now the work spoil and you're going to bring another buses. So you collapse the job.
But the government says that it is thinking about the people so that when the buses come, the people can move to their workplaces, to their schools early because the trot was delayed.
Before the government buses come, the people are not going to work. The students are not going to school. Which car are taking them before you thinking about them? The people are stranded about the bus. They are not stranded. We have already operated day and night to break them, to send them. So why is it going to break back to spare our work? I'm going to support my people.
So from here you won't work again?
No.
But you lose some money.
What? I'm losing some money. If you think about that, always they'll fool you. Okay. The government, if you think that the government is going to fool you, always. He fooled us already and going to bring another bus to spoil our work, and you say I'm losing money. For what? No.
Thank you, Noah. But Eric,
yes, sir.
So now your drivers,
they
are on strike, but you are working. Why? Are you not supposed to be supporting them?
I have to support them, but as I told you, I'm under somebody. But I have to wait for that person to tell me to do before I do.
But they are also under you, and it appears that they are doing what they want to do.
Oh no, they are not doing. If you are here and you come on scale, I know what to tell you and you work.
So it's a bag of mixed reactions here at the Obra Sports Nungwa station. He's a union head, that's Eric. He says that because he's not heard any confirmation from his authorities, the GPRT leaders, he's not striking. But Noah says that as for him, he didn't hear it on time, and so afterwards he would just park his buses and not come to work anymore. Eric tells me that some drivers are actually not here today, so though we have some people here commuting or taking the passengers to their places, there are some other drivers who are on strike. Let's get to some other stations and see what the situation is like over there. All right, so I've been going around some stations here at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. In fact, that's the 5th station I've been to, and it appears that the drivers are working. We have the Pro Tour drivers, some GPRT drivers who are working today. According to them, late Saturday night, they had a circular from the authorities not to join the commuter drivers on their strike today. So from what I've seen today, the drivers are working, the passengers are being taken to their various destinations, and it appears that not everybody is on strike, or not every driver is on strike. My name is Derek, I call Sam.
Let's now get a reaction from the Public Relations Officer of the Committed Drivers Association, Francis Appiah, who joins us on phone now with some thoughts on this. Mr. Appiah, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. Well, it appears not all of your members seem to agree with this very line of action you are taking. What could have gone wrong with this communication of yours?
Okay, my brother, let me say good evening to your listeners, your viewers. I think it's a good afternoon.
Yes, you go ahead. Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah. I think I'm at I'm at home. I was watching you live, but the thing is, some of the drivers and we are like if you are doing palm nut soup, see.
Francis Appiah, can you hear me?
So that's how we are like so. And the GPRT leaders to are sabotaging us. My brother, are you there?
You're saying the GPRT is sabotaging your strike?
Yes, the leaders.
How so?
Because them go do the thing. Them go take the work and pay the bus. then they are there and tell the drivers that the down they are tell the drivers that, oh, we didn't take any buses, so you come, don't go to any strike. And there's some of the drivers who knows that they have in that bus where the bus is at Atimota news station there, where the bus where the Atimota news station there. No, we don't take passport to go there.
Francis, let me ask, how many of your members adhere to your directive? How many of your people are really not working today?
Oh, brother, plenty drivers. I call Kumasi, and the Kumasi drivers, plenty of them. They are in the house. And then if you come to Asama here where I am, plenty drivers. You see, this season, we talk that we won't block any road. We won't force any driver that you go work or make no go work or something. We didn't force anybody. But we are going to fight because what they are saying is a fact.
Okay.
Because if you want to remove trotro from the system and they are doing the thing, if they are coming to sack those at the transport there, or they won't talk, say, you go strike, you didn't go strike. Them all will go.
Okay, Francis Appiah, many thanks for your time on News Today this afternoon. And Francis Appiah is Public Relations Officer of the Committed Drivers Association. It's that very group that has chosen to embark on a strike to protest government's decision to introduce a bus rapid transit system right here in Ghana. Well, we are told that it's going to commence sometime next month. That's in the month of October. We look forward to what happens in that very period. But away from that, now let's turn our attention to some health issues. And the National Health Insurance Review Committee has recommended the establishment of a National Health Commission as a regulatory body to streamline the activities and roles under the authority. Speaking at the handing over ceremony of the NHI's review report, Chairman of the committee, Dr. Chris Atim, said the establishment, the new body, will ensure efficiency and accountability under the scheme.
The National Health Insurance Scheme runs a benefit package that experts describe as bloated, inefficient, and not sustainable over time. A 7-member committee was set up late last year by President John Mahama to dig further into these concerns. A year on after carefully reviewing the scheme, the committee says the establishment of a National Health Commission regulatory body is key.
The commission is not a purchaser. It's not going to buy healthcare. It's not going to pay any providers. It is merely a coordinating body under the ministry that looks at the sector as a whole, at areas that are not working. For instance, one area I've mentioned is regulation inconsistency. There are some regulations, some agencies, such as HEFRA, the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency. It makes some regulations, and some of them are not practicable for the NHIS.
Can't these rules be placed under the NHIA rather than setting up a separate body to deal with it?
A regulatory and a purchasing body. Someone has to make the regulations for them to implement, because if they make the regulations and implement at the same time, you know what is going to happen. They will make only regulations, the kinds of regulations that benefit them or are convenient for them, rather than ones that take account of broader societal interests. Currently, for instance, the ministry no longer gets budget support for utilities, electricity and so forth. They no longer pay for water. So, but who should pay for it then? There's no budget coming from the Ministry of Finance. Who should pay for it? What's happening is that by default, the institutions are falling on the NHIS. But the NHIS was not designed to pay for those things.
The committee also recommends the scheme be restricted to a compulsory primary health care, maternal and child health care provision. This, according to the committee, will make the scheme more focused and a major vehicle for universal health coverage.
Maternal and child health are primary problems of the country, and that at our level of development, we're now a lower middle income country. We ought to actually be at a stage where we're not having more than 300 maternal deaths per 100,000, which is a scandal, because at our level of development, no woman should be dying needlessly on childbirth, and children, under 5, who are dying, at a rate higher than other countries in our income category. We need to tackle that, urgently.
The Health Minister, Alex Segbefia, who received the report, says it will be carefully studied for the implementation process to kickstart.
All we have to do is to ensure that we revamp the scheme in a way where we deal with universal health coverage, take into account the sustainable development goals that we are part of, and make sure that we can cater for our people in a manner which deals with making sure that even those at the very low end are covered.
If the recommendations are implemented, it will be the first time the scheme will be undergoing a comprehensive review since its establishment. It is expected that the review will establish a system that will be able to address the present difficulties of the.
Now, doctors at the Komfo Teaching Hospital are reporting of increased number of babies born with no visible anal opening. At least 3 babies undergo surgery to correct the abnormality at the facility every month. Head of Pediatrics Unit, Dr. Michael Amon, says the alarming situation calls for intensive antenatal interventions. John Mrs. Kwesi Debra has more.
Medical professionals call it anorectal malformation or imperforate anus. It is a type of birth defect where the lower part of the large intestine is improperly formed. The condition affects boys and girls with similar frequency. When a baby is born with anorectal malformation, it is usually detected early because it is a very obvious defect. Many children have problems controlling bowel function, and most also become constipated. According to the Texas Pediatric Association, 1 in every 5,000 births has the condition.
In our part of the world, it's even more than the 1 in 5,000 that exists everywhere.
Tamo of Komfo Teaching Hospital says the condition, which could be life-threatening, can affect other parts of the body.
Sometimes some of the children may have other associated anomalies, right? Maybe they may have a problem with the heart or with the kidney, and that will be what will determine their survival. And so, but we don't see that quite often. So there's a few on rare instances that you may have a child dying because of this condition.
Imperforate anus usually requires immediate surgery to open a passage for passage of stool. In the case of females, stool may be allowed to pass through the genitals until corrective surgery is performed.
When they are born and we realize that they don't have an anus, the first and foremost thing is to make sure that we've diverted their feces. We bring out the intestines outside. That procedure is known as a colostomy. So we create a colostomy for them so that the feces can come out from the intestines. And then after that, we may have to do some further investigations. Then, when we are satisfied with the investigation, in about 3 or so months, we will create a new anus for them. After creating the anus, we will have to do what is known as dilatation to make sure that the anus that has been created does not close up again. And then when we've done that procedure known as dilatation, when we are satisfied that now the anus is not going to close up, before we go and return or close the colostomy which has been created, that means that we will push the intestines back into the abdominal cavity. It's after that that the child will start passing through the anus that has been created.
Like many diseases, nutritional deficiency and chemical contamination are among the causes.
Key most among them is a folic acid deficiency. If a mother is pregnant and is deficient of folic acid, if the folic acid level in the blood is not up to a certain minimum required level, then the fetus stands the chance of being born with this condition, right? And so that is why when a pregnant woman goes to the antenatal clinic, most of the drugs that they are giving, one of them is folic acid, so that it will boost up the level of folic acid in their blood to prevent some of these conditions. Aside that, exposure to certain agents or chemicals, among them smoking. If a pregnant woman smokes, there's a high probability that the unborn baby will be born with such an anomaly. Likewise, if the woman takes in alcohol while pregnant, they may also predispose a child to develop anorexia malformation. And then if the woman is exposed to certain environmental hazards like radiations, if a pregnant woman works in, let's say, a radioactive area, let's say the X-ray unit.
Unfortunately, mothers of these babies come from poor homes. Dr. Amo observes most of them are from the northern Ghana. Menye is from Kwame Danso in the Brahafo region. She first detected the anomaly in the Brahafo region. She first detected the anomaly on little Ethia in the first month of birth. She was referred to the Kofanoche Hospital but could not afford the cost of treatment, which averages 5,000 Ghana cedis due to lack of funds. A group of medical students has taken up the initiative to cater for the treatment of these children. Through their intervention, 6 children have successfully undergone treatment. Gift Yoseakoto is coordinator.
I wanted us to do a project that people didn't know about and create awareness on it. Then I spoke to Dr. Michael Amo, the head of the pediatric surgery unit, and he actually confirmed that that's one of the commonest surgery.
To some more stories now, and the lack of commitment and attitudinal change have been blamed for Ghana's poor sanitation. Country Director for RSC Water and Sanitation Advocacy Group, Vida Duty, at the Sanitation Challenge program observed, Ghana has what it takes to tackle poor sanitation with particular reference to open defecation, but for the lack of commitment on the part of stakeholders. Here is more in Mahmoud Mohammeduddin's report.
In the 2015 update, a Millennium Development Goals assessment, Ghana was ranked 7th dirtiest country in the world. This means the country's performance on sanitation coverage has worsened over the years. One of the initiatives geared towards minimizing the liquid waste menace is the Sanitation Challenge for Ghana. It is aimed at stimulating competition among metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies on liquid waste management. The first stage of the prize design took 9 months, which ended in April this year. 3 MMDAs emerged winners, for which they received £75,000 sterling.
Had a lot of interest and heightened the competition among the MMDs.
Madam Dute
is an attitude and commitment issue.
It is not about the availability of...
It is not about the availability of resources.
Okay.
And so if we are committed to it, it shouldn't take us 500 years. If we are committed to ending open defecation, we can achieve it. If we obey the bylaws on building, if we build our homes, we should build toilets. It's mandatory. As long as we continue to eat, we have to think about how we manage what will come out after eating. And so for me, with commitment, we should be able to turn the situation around.
The one-day workshop was under the theme inducing MMDAs to transform urban sanitation services through liquid waste management strategy implementation. Reporting for Joy News, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin. It's okay.
You are watching news today here on your Journey Show on Multi TV. Now, when we return from this break, we'll tell you about how the opposition New Patriotic Party has rubbished the justification by the governing National Democratic Congress on why the NDC government was unable to deliver on all promises in its 2012 manifesto. We'll return shortly. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. Let's talk politics now. And the opposition New Patriotic Party has rubbished the justification by the governing National Democratic Congress on why the party was unable to deliver on all promises in its 2012 manifesto. A member of the NDC's manifesto committee had cited unforeseen and unanticipated shocks in the country's economy as reason why several promises were not delivered upon. Professor Kweku Danso-Boafo, in an interview with Roland Walker earlier on the AM show today, added that the failure of a government to fully fulfill promises in the manifesto should not give grounds for anyone to describe that government as incompetent. He said the current manifesto of the governing NDC captures all unfulfilled promises in the party's 2012 manifesto. Hence, it would be erroneous for anyone to call for a change in government simply because it failed to fully deliver on its mandate in the past 4 years.
Unless you apply a static definition to a manifesto, as long as it remains a set of ideals, programs, policies, the proposals, they are subject to change, they are subject to variations. And because they are operating within a system in which you cannot control everything, you have to make room for these kinds of things. I'm not aware of any system that has operated a manifesto within a specific time frame in which all objectives have been attained. If we go back to the origins of manifestos, for instance, some of the big manifestos in the world, you can take in 1776, the U.S. Declaration of Independence constitutes a manifesto. It says we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, blah, 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 blah. But were all men at that time created equal in the U.S.? No. Nobody faults them for creating a manifesto that forgot to address those kinds of things or overlooked these kinds of things. You take the 1848 Manifesto of the Communist Party, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Again, the kinds of things they foresaw at the time as compared to what we are seeing today. So manifestos are supposed to be dynamic, and we take cognizance of that fact that, if all things had been equal, of course, we could have built all 200 secondary schools. Knowing what we know now, we had identified over 300 promises that we made to the Ghanaian population. We accomplished most of them. There were a few that, for obvious reasons, we could not. But you see, a manifesto is not a one-time thing. Most of the time, we talk about the manifesto as if it's an end in itself. It's a means to an end. It's a process that we're following. And they also fall within Chapter 6 of the Constitution, the directive principles of state policy. Having been cognizant of that, we looked at those areas that we could not accomplish. We've gone through a previous manifesto. We discovered that out of the 300 promises we made, there are several that we could not attain. And so from 2017 to 2021, we are taking a fresh look at our national budget and see which adjustments we can make in order to complete it. We're not going to go into maybe 2020, where maybe out of the 200 secondary schools we still have a surplus to build. No, we're not going to do that.
But the opposition New Patriotic Party has rubbished the justification, insisting the posturing of the governing NDC is enough reason for the party to be denied another 4-year term.
I think that the level of incompetence has become so spectacular, and the president. If you look at what they promised the Ghanaian people in 2008 and what they have delivered in 2016, very clear that Ghana's educational sector is going through some of these difficulties, largely in part because of the incompetent management of the economy, the point where teachers in this country can certainly go in months of payment arrears and difficulties in getting their rural allowance. This has affected education at both the basic level and the secondary, right up to the tertiary level. So clearly, education has become so expensive under this government, a socialist government for that matter. I mean, entry into senior secondary school education is now beyond the reach of the poor. And these are the problems and the lack of facilities. And the fact that this government promised in 2000 they were going to build 50 schools every year, and by 2016 they would have completed building these schools. It is a situation when you find them admitting that yes, they have only built less, but it is not enough grounds to get them out of office. We have no time to continue to entertain this government that has been in power for 8 years and has failed to deliver. We need to bring in a competent government, a competent leader, and a competent leader who will put together coalitions who can fix this problem and get our children the most quality education so they can compete with the rest of the world. That is currently the Ghanaian people are hoping for. But if you look at what this government talked about in terms of corruption, I heard the inset. It is very sad that before this government, right before this government, they are supposed to retrieve corrupt monies that have been paid to individuals who are not deserving of these payments. They haven't had the moral courage to fight corruption. If you think about the problems that SADA has been engulfed with and the monies that have been illegally paid to people, they haven't retrieved those money. Okay. Mr. Wyoming is still in possession of 51 million
just a second.
taxpayers' money. Okay. And these are serious issues that have huge implications on development programs and activities of the government.
That was Deputy Communications Director of the opposition New Patriotic Party, Anthony Cabo, speaking earlier on Newsdesk. You are still watching News Today here on the Journey Salon Multi TV. We're taking another break. When we come back, we'll bring you some business updates. Stay with us.